I'm coming to you from downtown Los Angeles, the biggest protest in Southern California here, No King's Day. We have some major breaking news here. That is that this protest across the country in more than 2,600 communities has now reached more than 7 million people who've taken to the streets, making it the biggest protest in American history. There were over 2,600 locations across the United States and, by the way, in other cities across the world. But 2,600 locations, that makes the most locations across the country that we have ever seen. So really big update in terms of a protest that the right was trying their level best to try and denigrate and suppress in the lead up to this weekend. And that's especially important because so much of the power that Donald Trump relies on is being able to use the office of the presidency to quash dissent, to be able to tamp down on law firms and universities and tech CEOs and media companies. But what he can't do it against is millions upon millions of Americans taking to the streets. That's the one thing that he can't use the levers of the federal government against us for. And he knew that in the lead up to this thing, which is why he was trying so hard to rebrand this as the Hate America rally, as the Antifa rally, trying anything he could to prevent people from coming, to quash enthusiasm about this event. Clearly not successful as we look down this street and see an endless line of people, tens of thousands of people right here in Los Angeles, just here where I am in downtown LA. But of course, with 7 million people who've taken to the streets across the country, this is a major win for the organizers, a major win for the pro-democracy movement in this country, and a major loss for the Trump administration that was trying as hard as it could to quash any and all dissent. And of course, we've seen that in every facet of what they've done, whether it is with these law firms, whether it's with universities, whether it's with tech CEOs, whether it's with media companies, using the levers of the federal government to make sure that nobody can say an ill word of this president. He even used his FCC to quash dissent, criticism from a comedian. That is the extent to which this administration does not want to see anybody criticize them, anybody exercise their First Amendment right. And yet for all of those efforts, there is an equal and opposite pushback that we're very clearly seeing right now as far as the eye can see that way, and as far as the eye can see that way, there is a steady stream of endless people marching in opposition to what this administration is doing. This also comes amid the news that Donald Trump is now contending with, according to the AP, the lowest approval rating he has had in this term. 37% approval compared to 61% disapproval. So a major development there as his approval ratings continue to tank and the American people kind of recognize their agency in moments like this. And this also comes in the immediate heels of talking about Jimmy Kimmel when the American people rose up against Disney. And we did see in one of the first instances of this term, the tide begin to turn against what this administration is doing, against the FCC, and Disney began to realize, hey, my only obstacle here isn't the Trump administration. There's a bigger obstacle in the form of Americans who are actually pushing back, canceling their subscriptions, and speaking out in favor of their First Amendment rights. And we're seeing a bigger display of that right here, as again, you can see this steady stream of people. As long as we've been recording, it has not relented in the slightest. This joins hundreds of thousands of people who've taken to the streets all across the country, whether it's in Washington, D.C., where nearly 250,000 people took to the streets. Cities like Chicago, like Boston saw massive crowds, but importantly, even in small communities with 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 people in total who live there, lining the streets, lining the main drags there, so that they can have people voicing their opposition to this administration, lining the highways with signs. People were beeping at them, honking at them to show their support for what they were doing. So whether it's in big cities like the one I'm in right now, downtown Los Angeles, or whether it's in small communities across the country, red or blue, we have seen Americans mobilize today in a way that has never happened before in the history of this country. So a massive win for the organizers, a massive win for the pro-democracy movement, and a massive loss for an administration that relied on heavy-handed tactics to ensure that nobody would ever say an ill word of dear leader. Clearly what we've seen today is not just a few people voicing their dissent, but thousands and thousands just in this city, millions across the country. So again, thank you to everybody for using your voice, for recognizing that democracy is not a given, that it happens when you fight for it, when you work for it, and this is what it looks like when you are actually working for it.
this country stood up and said, we are going to build a democracy, a country that's for the people, by the people, of the people, and we will not bow down to any monarch.
There are tens of thousands of people here, Frederica. This is enormous.
United will never be divided. The people united will never be divided. The people united will never be divided.
Look at this. Millions of people across the country marching as we speak against the policies of President Trump. This is Boston. Look at that.
Before you go, if you enjoyed this content and you want to see more and support independent media, please subscribe to this channel. The subscribe button will be right here on the screen. But second, the reality is that we are now in a political environment where this administration can lean on any of the social media platforms to suppress certain voices if they don't like critical coverage. That means my longevity here is in the hands of a few tech billionaires who are already making it clear that they are willing to cater to this administration. To that end, signing up for my newsletter is a way for me to reach you directly if that ever becomes necessary. I'll put the link right here on the screen as well, so please sign up. It's free, but there's also an option to do a paid subscription if you'd like to support me and my team. I really appreciate it. Thanks so much for watching.